told you my background would change. I'm finally back home. Process, but working on it. First off, how are you doing on this lovely Monday? I hope you're doing well. Uh, so pretty much the topic I wanted to discuss today is pretty much just pacing yourself. So, what I mean about that is okay, a lot of people have this preconceived notion that, when you date or whatever, you're supposed to just settle on one person and that's it, and that's the person that you're supposed to be with or whatever. It's frowned upon to date around and to actually have options. And I feel like nowadays, a lot more people are normalizing dating and having options versus just settling on one person or whatever. So I'm here to say, you know, date how you like. Date for however it works for you. Like if you're a person who wants to date multiple people at one time just to see what you like, do that. If you're a person who enjoys the company of one person, but you do have like other people who do want to hang out with you or do things with you, do that as well. If you're a person that just wants to focus on one person, do that as well. Don't let society determine or dictate how you move when it comes to dating. And I hate that because a lot of people will point the finger like, oh, well, she's talking to this guy, but I just saw her talking to this guy the other day and she got to be sleeping with them. They don't, it doesn't necessarily mean that. Most of the time when women are dating, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're sleeping around with everybody that they date. It just means that, they're having options, which you should be allowed to have. This way, you know what you like, what you don't like, what interests you, what doesn't interest you, and you know what works for you and what doesn't. So I just want people to normalize people dating without being called whores. Or now, if you out here and every girl you get with or every guy you get with, you having babies with, that's different. That's different. But again, that's your business as well. But as far as like dating goes, date to have fun. And then on top of that, everybody tries to make um they try to make it seem like marriage is the ultimate goal. Yes, marriage, in some people's cases should be the ultimate goal, but it's not in everybody's future. And that's okay. Like I don't I don't know why people like to force marriage or force, those type of things on people who aren't ready for it, who don't want no parts of it, because it always ends in disaster. So I don't think that should be like, people should get married if they want to get married. If not, and they want to just be boyfriend and girlfriend all the time, they just want to date, they want to be happily single. Let people do what makes them happy. So I just feel like I said earlier, do not let society dictate how you move and what you do. Because society will have you out here losing your ever loving mind. And if we left it up to society and lived by what they wanted, we we would never be like, we'll never be happy because society wants you to be a size what, 4, a size 2. Society wants you to be, you know, um it's a number of things. Society wants you to have straight hair. Society wants you to have, the ideal home life, whatever. Ignore society because I'm pretty sure society is not, perfect themselves or whatever. So of course when it comes to dating, the societal norm is, date you're dating to you're dating and your goal is to be married. Not necessarily. I'm a person who, I feel like, when it comes to dating and whatnot, I'm a person who, I'm like, I'm 50-50 on marriage. I don't care to get married. If I do get married, great. If not, great. I don't care anymore. I used to be heavily, into what I would like to be married and I would like to have. And, it almost worked out that way until it didn't. And what I've learned about that relationship is that you shouldn't settle and um, you shouldn't listen to what naysayers are, you shouldn't listen to what people are saying about your relationship. Because the minute I got engaged, the main thing I heard was, well, when are y'all getting married? When is the wedding date? When y'all getting married? And I refused to be forced into a marriage where I could have been miserable the whole time. And that's kind of what it ended up being. Like, I was no longer I checked out of the relationship, and once I checked out, that was the end of it for me. So imagine if I would have listened to everybody and I would have gotten married like immediately after I got engaged. I would be miserable. So my thing is, don't listen to what people say. Do what works for you. You know, if being single works for you, if dating and having options works for you, that's fine. Sometimes you just need that time to just self reflect and rebuild a relationship with yourself. So don't conform to societal norms because society is not normal. Um, Another thing I would say, as far as like pacing yourself, do not tolerate what doesn't serve you. If you are pouring into a relationship if you are pouring positivity into a relationship and you're not getting that like reciprocated, time to go, sis or bro. Like, if it's not serving you in any way, do not tolerate it. And there's a lot of people who tolerate a lot of stuff just to say, oh well, I'm in a relationship. No, no, do not tolerate any abuse of any kind. Any abuse of any kind, anything that falls under the umbrella of abuse, do not feel like you have to tolerate it. Don't feel like tolerating. Don't feel like you have to tolerate chasing behind a guy, asking him for the bare minimum, the simplest stuff: a call, a text, a compliment, how you doing. That's simple stuff. You shouldn't have to squeeze that out of a person to give it to you. Like, it just makes no sense to me. And like the stories that I be hearing um about people who they settle, and it's kind of sad because you're wasting your time asking a person to do something for you that the next person is willing to do and then some. That should never be the case. It should never be a situation where you're like, well, I wish you would compliment me. I wish you would give me flowers. It should never be that sort of situation. Never. You should never have to force upon like your like the bare minimum. Giving a compliment, sending a text, all of that stuff is simple. It is so simple to say thank you, or I really enjoy spending time with you, or whatever. Like, it's so weird. Like, we're in an era where people have all of the means of communication, but they lack communication skills. It's so ass backwards. I don't get it, but it's sad. If it does not serve you any purpose, leave it alone. That goes for men and women. Leave it alone. Last thing I really want to talk about is your happiness is your own. Stop trying to measure up to other people's happiness, because you won't be happy. How one person does something, it works for them, might not work for you. So whatever makes you happy, if taking a walk, if smoking weed, if any of them things that you do that's a vibe and it makes you happy, do it. Don't let anybody tell you different. Don't tell them that. Don't allow them to tell you that it's wrong, that you shouldn't be doing it. It's what makes you happy. As long as it's not hurting anyone in the process, do it. It's what makes you happy. Be happy. That's all I really want for everybody. I just want us all to be happy, because now is such a crappy time in the world. We're still dealing with this pandemic damn near a year later. So I feel like happiness is the key in anything that you do, even if it's something small. If it's something small as, like me, I do TikToks sometimes with my kids. I play video games. I journal. I've been binge watching shows. I've been doing this, YouTube vlogging and whatnot. Just whatever makes you happy, do it. Don't question it. Don't, second guess it. Just do it. Pace yourself. Pace yourself with dating, pace yourself in life. Don't be so hard on yourself because it just is what it is. You're human, you're gonna make mistakes, you're going through this big bowl of crap called life, and you're learning as you go. There's no manual to this stuff. You learn as you go. So I just want everybody to pace themselves. Do not be so hard on yourself when it comes to dating or whatever. Even if you feel like you need to take a break and you don't want to deal with certain energies, that is perfectly fine. Sometimes taking a break and focusing on yourself and balancing your energies again, that works too. You don't necessarily need the attention of anybody to do that. Do what makes you happy. Pace yourself when it comes to dating, and don't feel guilty about entertaining more than one person. Doesn't mean you're sleeping with everybody. And if you are, it's your damn business. And on that note, I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe. Also, don't forget to tell a friend about Tisha on the Tube. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video.